What's up, 49er fans? After much delay and many things that are going on here, Leo and I have made it work. I'm Jason. That's Leo. Leo, why'd you cut your hair?
Usually I go from slick back hair to cut hair, like cut it short, and I just flip flop back and forth. But over the past 6 years, over the past 6 years, my lady was like, nah, slick back hair. You look more like a zaddy when you have your hair back like that. But I was waking up with complete bed hair, and so it was done. How to chop it off. It is what it is. Fresh start, just like the 49ers at the quarterback position.
Well, Aiden Hutchinson just went second. Trayvon Walker, shout out to Trent Baalke, took him at number 1. Aiden Hutchinson, number 2. Number 3 is now on the clock. Leo, you just got here.
Yes.
A lot of the discussion with the 49ers is going to be, will they be picking tonight? What do you feel?
I feel like no. It's just the way the 49ers have moved. They look like they move very calculated. And for this Debo Samuel situation to happen in less than a month, and basically 49ers move off that and get the 10th pick out of it, it just seems like everything would happen way too fast based off the 49ers history. Remember, they moved up for the 3rd overall pick last year for Trey Lance, but that was a calculated move. It's not something that they decided on within a month. Once the season was a wrap, essentially, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They had extra time compared to this year to go ahead and calculate that move. I think Debo Samuel's going to stay a 49er after this first round. And I think the Jets are going to be making that pick, not the 49ers. I don't see them. If they do move up, it may be in the late 20s, and it would not shock me at all because the 49ers do love having that 5th-year option.
Yeah, and a lot of what has been talked about here has been speculated on, hey, the 49ers are going to wait for teams on the clock, and they're going to try to get the best offer. We've heard Godfather offer, many things like that at this point. But for me, it feels like the 49ers are waiting for some offer to completely blow them away, and it just doesn't seem like that's out there unless someone does something rash. So right now, the feeling that I have right now, sitting next to Leo in the media workroom right now, I think Debo stays. And does that mean he's going to be there for training camp? Does that mean that is something that we'll cross that bridge when we get there? But if you're talking about tonight, it does not seem for me that that's going to happen. And we could be proven wrong pretty quickly now with the Houston Texans on the board now. The Giants, the Jets, Carolina at 6. And then when it starts to get to that 10 portion is where we're going to find out.
I love the comment there by Steph talking basketball. Debo for Salah. Who says no? Love that comment there. Robert Saleh probably says no so that he can stay a head coach there. But this is how I view the situation. We've all had a possession of ours where it had emotional value. And you wanted something in return, whether it's a monetized in return or whatever it is. And do you make that a rash decision right in the moment and basically you receive way less than what you wanted? And keep in mind, when it's an emotional thing, you tend to have more value on it. And for the 49ers to make this decision like that, I just don't see it happening that soon. I think the 49ers are going to do whatever they can to go ahead and retain Debo Samuel moving forward.
Well, it sounds like right now in number 3, Derek Stingley is about to go. And that will be a bit of a surprise for everybody. But Derek Stingley is going to go at 3. And the Houston Texans are going to take him. And here we go. The board's going to fall weirdly. And I think a lot of what has to do with the 49ers getting there at 10 has to do with who's on the board at this point. And I think that is what
Who's the guy? Who's the guy? Let's talk about him.
I don't know. Who is the guy? And it sounds like from everything that we've heard since we've been here, 2 to 3 guys. But who knows who those 2 to 3 guys are? And I think that is where the 49ers are waiting for their clock portion. Derek Stingley's about to get picked by the Houston Texans. The pick's about to come in now, and then we're going in after that, trying to figure out how the board lays. I believe the Jets go with Sauce at 4, and it's about who's going to be there.
Let me ask you this question: who is your guy that would say if he's still there at 10, that you make that trade? Like
3 guys, and they're wide receivers. One of the top 3 guys, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, or Chris Olave. One of those 3 guys would be the 49ers, for me, my target with the 49ers. Knowing the 49ers is probably an edge. It's probably some offensive linemen.
Right.
And that wouldn't be bad in any way. But we've kind of seen the 49ers, especially when they moved on from DeForest Buckner. What did they do? They went and they replaced him immediately with a guy who plays right away. So Houston's about to take Derek Stingley. That's about to be done. And then that's it. That's Todd Gurley.
Yeah, we need Todd Gurley to say hi to
That's Todd
everybody.
Gurley. That's Todd Gurley.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like Todd Gurley just says hi to everybody. Think about that.
Give him a
He's
plug.
someone that we talked about to
Yes.
become a 49er.
Yes.
Someone that we basically, it was a 1-year flyer and see what the hell happens.
Todd, what's up, buddy? Yeah, this is what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what's going on right now in the media work group. Like Todd Gurley's just chilling right here, like in front of us. Like it's just
Georgia man, first overall.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So
Ask him how he feels about that.
Here comes the pick. It's Derek Stingley. Let's go, Houston.
Let's go, Houston. Let's see. Yep.
Boom. There you go. Sauce Gardner's going next.
So what's the move right now if, say, the surprise pick, the Jets take receiver? That wipes out Debo Samuel narrative, correct?
Well, that's the thing. Is again, who's going to be there at 10 for them at this point? And again,
but if the Jets take a receiver here at 4, I don't know why they would.
they're taking Sauce next. I think that's where the Jets go at 4. Sauce. Yeah. I mean, look.
Okay,
Sauce,
for the
Sauce,
if game.
For the if game, go.
If
Garrett Wilson?
If the Jets take Garrett Wilson here, Debo Samuel's off the board, correct?
Yeah, because then that means they can't take him at 10. But I definitely look. You guys definitely found out the pick 20 seconds ahead of national television. Hey! You loud, YOLO, bro. You loud, bro. Like don't Hey, look. You're tapped into us so we can give you the pick before, right? Like. You could watch it on TV, but you could watch us and we can tell you before how it happens. That was a whole minute ahead. So hey, look.
Do you think they could also go edge rusher here instead of Sauce?
If the Jets don't take a wide receiver here, they're still firmly in the Debo thing. I think that's a great point. 100%.
Yeah, I could see definitely Jermaine Johnson as well as Thibs here being selected by the Jets because where does Robert Saleh come from? Where did he have his most success? Was it Richard Sherman in his later years? Is that the reason why he had so much success? Was it because of Akello Weatherspoon on that other side or Manuel Mosley on that other side? Or was it because he had Nick Bosa, a much more available D4, DeForest Buckner, and Eric Armstead, who led the team in sacks in that 2019 season? So I think we'll see edge here from the New York Jets.
And again, that edge pick is gonna still put the Jets in firmly, completely in with the Debo talks, and that won't calm anything down in any way. But Leo's absolutely right. Let's say the Jets throw us a curveball and they go with Garrett Wilson, that takes them firmly out of the Debo Samuel thing. So 4 is going to be something that's interesting to figure out. When the pick comes in and we figure out who it is, we'll let you know. We'll let you guys know. Drop in the chat who you guys believe the Jets are going to take it for, and we'll talk about it that way. But I think Leo brings up a great point about positional value, who gets taken, and if one team takes him, then they're out of the Debo Samuel discussion the entire way. And I see Leo right now refreshing, and we're around a bunch of people talking like right now. So I mean, the Derek Stingley thing was like the worst kept secret at this point. So I see a lot of Sauce. Nick saying Sauce, Eric saying Sauce. I think it's gonna be Sauce as well too. A lot of people had Sauce pegged as the cornerback 1. So to see Derek Stingley go ahead of him is gonna be something that we'll discuss later on down the line. Sauce Gardner hasn't given up a touchdown his entire time in college. What do you think about that pick overall with Derek Stingley?
Oh, with Derek Stingley or if the Jets take off?
No, with Stingley.
With Stingley, I think that's huge. Anytime you get a true cornerback 1, and that's what I rate him as, a cornerback 1. Whether he comes out like a Jeff Okudah, that remains to be seen. But I like what they're doing with Jeff Stingley because you look at that division, is any quarterback really beating you with their arm? Carson Wentz. I'm not sure. Ryan Tannehill. Trevor Lawrence had no problem giving the ball away last season. So if you go ahead and get a cornerback that has Stingley's potential, you could really rub fits for these opposing quarterbacks as well as any receiver that they want to throw up against. We see what A.J. Brown did against the 49ers last season. He had a monster game, and that's what having a Derek Stingley on your team does for you, is because it could help soften that blow or help eliminate A.J. Brown a little more. I'm not going to say you're going to completely erase him from the game, especially as a rookie quarterback that we haven't seen play a snap in the NFL. But I think it's great value from the Texans, and they got something moving forward. Their defense wasn't completely terrible last year, but they did not have a quarterback on Stingley's level by even a fraction of it.
And I think a lot of what Stingley has over Sauce is Sauce played at Cincinnati. No disrespect to that conference.
It looks like it's Sauce coming in.
Yeah, I think it's Sauce as well too. Stingley went to LSU, and I think a lot of that. Yeah, picks in. The Jets are taking Sauce. Done and done. Picks in. It's Sauce Gardner going forward. So that's it. Now we're at 5, and the Giants are on the board. I think the Giants are going to go with Thibodeaux.
You think so?
I think so. I think they need an edge guy. They already have Aziz.
Yes.
You match him up with Thibodeaux, and I think that really works very well. I would be shocked if the Giants did something like take a lineman here because they have another pick coming down the line, I believe. No, they don't. So they just have this pick.
Who?
The Giants.
The Giants, they have one later in the first.
Yeah.
They have one later in the first. I don't know. I just feel like if you're the Giants and you're going it looks like they're keeping their guy at quarterback this season. And they didn't go. There was rumors that they were going to go out and sign Mitch Trubisky to battle for that position or anything like that moving forward. But they chose not to. They're firmly going with, what's his name? Daniel Jones.
Well, Daniel Jones didn't get his 5th-year option picked up today. So they're going to go one more year, and that's it. He's going to be able to test the market at that point. So I think that's very interesting.
How bad would it shock you if they went quarterback here?
Malik Willis, it would shock me to the core. But the Jets are about to take Sauce. Sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. Sauce Gardner's about to go at 4. And then at 5, the Giants have 5 and 7. So Thibodeaux and a wide receiver, or something else, or Evan Neal, or Evan Neal, right?
Neal makes sense.
100%. Evan Neal, all of these things are on the table for the Giants at this point. But Sauce goes at 4, and then 5 and 7, we're gonna find out what the Giants are thinking. But it's an interesting time right now. Here in the media workroom, it's like all this stuff is kind of just being thrown out there here and there. But yeah, right now, Sauce is gonna go 4. And what do you guys think the Giants do at 5? So Jesse says, go D-line. Giants going to lose out for Bryce Young next year. I mean, I feel like the Dabo move and the whole Bills regime coming over was more to find out what they have with Daniel Jones. But Sauce Gardner is about to be the pick here. Sauce Gardner.
The New York Jets select Sauce Gardner.
Boom.
All defense.
It is all defense right now. Yeah, Stingley first, right? Again, like we were just talking about, consensus number one, Sauce. But a lot of people feel like Stingley was the guy, and then that's the way we talk about it. So, 100%.
Yeah, Stingley had a great freshman year. I think that should be noted. He had a great, outstanding freshman year, and then kind of didn't live up to the expectations after that. Fell off a little bit. Still found his way as a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. But he does have that potential. He just got to get back to it. And that's a lot about this guy, especially the cornerback position. A lot of it's confidence and knowing what the hell you're doing. Especially if I'm not sure what the Texans are doing. Are they going to be running more zone? Or are they going to be running more man?
Well, Stingley, I think, profiles as a guy, like a god, right? Again, LSU, right? And I think that they feel like you want a guy with the competition. Again, Sauce didn't give up 1 touchdown his entire career in college. And I think a lot of people have him as pegged as number 1. Rightfully so, that's fine. But there is a lot of chatter around Derek Stingley being better because of the competition and those things. And obviously, Houston values him in the same exact way. But Sauce is going to end up in New York. I'm very happy that I get to be super close to him. But yeah, so 5 for the Giants.
I just feel like they got to go Evan Neal or at least an offensive tackle. Daniel Jones, you got to figure out what you have. You got to protect the guy, especially now that you have the Brian Debo, who was just with Josh Allen last year. What's similar about these guys? They're both athletic, big arm quarterbacks that at times they struggled with the accuracy. Daniel Jones struggled holding on to the football and not fumbling. That's a different story. We're talking about throwing the football and not the fumbles.
Yeah.
But with the Giants, you got to protect this guy. I know you want to go, say, an edge rusher here. This draft is loaded with edge rushers. They do have multiple first-round picks. They could go ahead and get back into the pool that way. Maybe they get lucky and get a Jermaine Johnson, fall to them to their second first-round pick in this year's draft. And I think you got to protect Daniel Jones. If you don't, he's just going to move on to another franchise, and you're just stuck in this hole. You got to protect him. And quarterbacks play better when they're protected. We've seen what Jimmy Garoppolo looked like in that NFC Championship game when he wasn't protected. And frankly, Daniel Jones hasn't had that his whole career.
And another thing is this regime, right? Like, what are they trying to build and what's going on? So clearly they didn't pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option, which is relatively cheap for a starting quarterback in this league of $23 million. And Brian Dabble and the Bills regime is in here, and they'll see what they got with Daniel Jones, and then maybe they'll cross that road about bringing him back if that happens. But it's clear how the Giants want to build things without David Gettleman in the building anymore, and I don't think that it's the same thing in that way.
Ooh, look! You see Sauce with the sauce?
Sauce yesterday.
You talked to him yesterday?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yesterday, he had that Sauce, the chain on. I would say that was the most gaudy chain that was there, but it wasn't the drippiest. I felt like Jameson Williams. I felt like Jermaine Johnson was low-key icy. Like, he had a great watch on. He had a great bracelet. And sometimes less is more when it comes to being dripped out, when it comes to jewelry. And I felt Jermaine Johnson did a great job. There you go. Jermaine Johnson did a great job of it. And I felt that Jameson Williams did. Sauce is all about extra, the most, right? Like the biggest thing. So Sauce had the Sauce chain on, obviously the gaudiest, but I felt that those two guys left him a little bit in the dust when it came to the drip stuff.
So here's another question.
Less is more. Hey, to be honest, I thought about buying 2 more chains before I came out here.
Two
I ain't
more?
gonna lie. 2 more.
Shout out to Slick. Shout out to everybody in here. Sorry guys for the technical difficulties before we
got the Ethernet.
We figured it out. The Wi-Fi is what it is. The Wi-Fi is jankier than Brad's. It's jankier than
Leo in my SI days.
Right, 100%. I mean, wouldn't work on a hotspot. Figured it out though. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on both these channels. Join the Spicy Squad. A lot of content coming over here. Tibbs?
Tibbs or Thibs? What are we calling?
Thibodeaux? We're going to find out in a second, but I have a feeling it's Tibbs.
No, yeah, I have a good feeling it is. I'm hearing it from Albert Breer as well as Dov Kleinman that it's going to be defense.
There you go. Yep. So the Giants,
the
Giants are taking Thibodeaux at 5. So there you go. Again, we're at 5 already. This draft is moving. We're getting closer to that sweet spot. Where are the Jets going to be taking? At 10, right? We're waiting. We're moving. And again, it depends on who's on the board. We still have not one wide receiver off the board. All of this is kind of leading itself to that.
Does it get to a point where, say, the Jets, their wide receiver 1, they decide to take him at 10, don't decide to give that up for Debo Samuel, and value the rookie contract more than saying giving up, because I don't think it's going to take just 10 from the Jets.
No,
I don't think so.
10 gets the conversation started. That's where you pick up the phone and you listen with 10.
Yes.
But it's 10 plus more things. That's why I think a lot of people have lost it, where it's like, well, you're saying, move it for 10. No one's saying you move it for just 10. 10 is where we start. Thibodeau's about to be the pick here, and the commissioner's at the podium getting booed. Who is that gentleman that's next to him?
I don't know.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome, man. Good for him, man. He's hyped.
Yeah, he is.
But it's Thibodeaux at 5, so we're on to Carolina at 6.
Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, Thibodeaux. He just slid a little bit more. I felt like people would have been more high on him if he didn't like his interviews. I felt like at the combine he didn't really do too well in those things. But I think he knows who he is, and I think teams see through that. 100%. 100%. 100%. He's ready to go. I think we talked with him yesterday. He's ready to go. Yeah.
The New York Football Giants select Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Thibodeaux at 5. Now it gets interesting, guys. 6, Carolina Panthers. What do the Carolina Panthers do? Do the Carolina Panthers trade back? Leo, what do you think?
Don Murphy
suit
out of Dallas.
Oh, wow. So I asked Thibodeaux yesterday, can you give us a little bit about like what's going on with your suit? And he said, no chance. Like, yeah, he didn't. And there you go. Good to see. So, Panthers at 6. Do the Panthers move back?
I don't know. Something tells me that Matt Rule wants like a veteran quarterback there, and that's my concern with them taking quarterback here. It seems like he's more of leaning towards the veteran side. We saw them make that trade for Sam Darnold since he did have some longevity in the NFL, even though it wasn't a good one. Panthers go O-line, the guy from NC State. Hey, keep him in the Carolinas, right? It wouldn't be a bad. I'm gonna say, you know.
I'm going to say
Jesse's probably going to be more right than I was because I said the Jets were going to take defensive line. They took Sauce. I said the Giants were going to take offensive tackle. They took Thibs. So I'm going to go with you guys in the comments and let me know what you think the Panthers are taking here.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I think it's Ickey too. I think it's Ickey too, man. Oh, he's so hyped, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that is, man. I love to see that the Make-A-Wish child like being there. I love that. Absolutely love that. That's amazing. Good for him, man. Good for him.
Giants need to bring him in. They need to bring him in the building. I don't know if they already did. Because I don't follow the Giants like that. But the Giants need to bring this kid into the building.
So at 6, we're gonna find out real quick. I think after 6, we're really gonna find out where things go. It's the Giants again. It's Atlanta, Seattle, Jets, and then we're starting to get into that area, right?
We haven't heard anything new in regards to Debo Samuel as this draft has prolonged. I think that's good for the 49ers. I think that's someone you want to extend and not have him go out
right
of this building.
100%. And, shout out to you guys here on the live stream. Appreciate you guys. I know that we're we're trying to do this ad-libbed a little bit, harder than it usually is, but thank you guys again. Like this video, subscribe to both channels, hit the notification bell for both channels.
Hey, what about the Spicy Squad? What's going on with that?
Spicy Squad, I mean, if we're out here tomorrow, then tomorrow maybe we'll do a call-in show, something like that. But yes,
how do they access the Spicy Squad?
It would be a link that would be sent only to the people that are members, and that's how they join, and that's how they get for the call-in. The call-in show is for StreamYard link.
No, but how do they join the Spicy Squad? That's what I'm trying to get to, Jay.
Okay, if you want to join the Spicy Squad, make sure that you get into the YouTube channel on your desktop, somewhere like that. On the channel, you'll see join membership. That's where you join, and then you'll pop in. So shout out to everybody that's in here, man. Appreciate all of you guys for being very patient with us because the Wi-Fi wasn't working, but they actually gave us a really good cord? Ethernet. So we're just sitting here waiting for 6. This is going to be very interesting. How much do the Panthers believe in Sam Darnold? How much about what's going to be happening with Sam Darnold will push them to make other decisions at 6?
Well, this year is a 5th-year option for Sam Darnold. So it's basically he goes somewhere else next year, or he's going to get a contract renewal because he plays out of his mind with the Panthers. I would say it's more so he goes somewhere else next year, but we've seen stranger things when guys figure it out. And when guys figure it out, there's something that clicks, He does have the talent. I don't know if it's more of a mental thing with Sam Darnold.
It is.
The talent's there.
Ghost.
And seeing ghosts out on the field. Exactly. But if you do go offensive line, at least you're investing in that decision. What's going to happen moving forward at the quarterback position. Remember, they started out 3-0 last year. Now,
What is this? One like?
one like.
What are y'all doing?
Yikes.
Sorry.
Jason's bringing the heat. Let's talk about it. I thought about bringing in the Blazer. But you went ahead and did it. You seen Jordan?
Have we seen Jordan? Yeah, Jordan's here. Jordan's just too big time for us.
Where is he right now?
He can't sit with us. He's at the SB Nation portion. So Jordan's too good for us.
I should be there. I'll be right back.
Leave. Get out. leave your laptop.
Leave the laptop.
All right. Picks in. The Carolina Panthers have taken Ickey.
Okay.
So we're at 7.
Jesse's like 3 for 3 from what I'm seeing here.
We're at 7 now. Ickey's the pick.
Debo, watch. Now if nothing happens, I'd be happy.
Boom. Jesse, as usual. Shout out to the advanced stats. Boom.
Yeah, he's 3 for 3. He's batting 1,000. Hey, talking about 3 for 3. I did the NFL draft experience, and they have where you could throw the football and hit the targets. It's 3 different targets. You get 3 throws. I went 2 for 3, man. I couldn't make a 10-yard dime.
QB1.
I could not make a 10-yard dime. Honestly, I got a little nervous because I started off 2-2, and I got a little nervous on the third one, and I left it a little too short.
Sounds like Jimmy. Real quick.
No, he leaves it long.
Giants go wide out or Evan Neal. The pick's in. It's Ickey. The pick is in. It's Ickey. Done and done. Take it to the bank at this point. So Evan Neal's going to be there later on down the line. But it's Ickey. It's Ickey for the Panthers right now at this point. And then the Giants get Neal. So
you want to go ahead and touch that?
Safe to say that if Debo doesn't get traded at the pick 10, then we're good. Yes and no. Because 13, 14, 15 is like 15 is the last spot that I'm worried about. After that, where Philly's at 15, if Debo Samuel's not traded by 15, I'd be shocked if he was moved in any way. I'd be shocked. 100% shocked.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of the conversation has been saying, what has these other receivers gone for? Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. But I think if a top 25 pick is not on the board for the 49ers, would it be so bad to take a next year's one? Would that be terrible?
It would be terrible.
Why?
I'm not giving up a cost control player, guy under control for next year's maybe. And what if the 49ers take a pick from somebody who ends up being really good, right? Like, let's say the Eagles, right? There's always those teams that you take a high pick for the next year, and then all of a sudden,
okay. Schnoozle, Shabizzle. So he said, unless they trade Debo for other players and draft picks. So say
what player?
Elijah Moore. Give me Elijah Moore. No, honestly, I would prefer to keep Debo than have Elijah Moore on this team. But I'm saying, since we said other players, Elijah Moore, please, thank you.
I think Robert's right. Hoping for a Niner-free first round, that would be electric, in my mind. That would send us all the way up here in the media workroom, I promise you. But shout out to everybody in here. Again, it's 30 minutes. Like this video, subscribe to the channels. Make sure that you hit those notification bells, man. Shout out to everybody for tapping in, man. Ickey's about to be named the pick right here, and then we'll move on to 7, and we'll start to speculate from there.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Ickey Ekwonu, tackle, North Carolina State.
Okay, so they go for a pass protector.
Okay.
And you choose the kid from Carolina, North Carolina State.
So you're okay paying Debo? Go back to that comment. You're okay paying Debo his 3.5 next year and then 2 years of franchise tag and season. You okay with that? I don't have to be okay with that, unfortunately. It's not up to me more than anything. That is just one of the possibilities for the 49ers at this point, and I think they know that. So Am I okay with that? Doesn't matter if I'm okay with that. I don't run anything. So, yes, but who cares what I think?
You don't run anything. That's a damn lie.
Nothing.
That's a damn lie.
Shout out to BB50 for popping in. Jimmy G to the Panthers. No.
I mean, hold on.
There was a report that came out today that kind of like got swept under the rug about the Houston Texans, saying that, yes, they like Davis Mills, but they would be in on a franchise or not a veteran quarterback, Jimmy Baker. And I think that Jimmy and Caserio is too much for you to, cop out.
Look at that. Do you see that at the NFL draft experience?
Dude, it's not a cop out. Nobody cares what I think, dude. Like, it's not a cop out. There's no who cares what I think?
Niners helmet, Panther helmet together.
Not happening.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Panther confirmed.
Not happening.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Panther.
Imagine saying that it's a cop out for a guy who has no pull and doesn't care like what they do. Like I don't care. Like it's
Okay, so talk to me. What's the cop out?
that we don't control anything. So am I okay with franchise tagging a player that I can't franchise tag because I'm not an owner? I don't care. Like it's not my business. What are we talking about here?
Let me get back to so you're okay paying Debo is 3.5 next year, then 2 years
It's
of
not about
franchise
being
tag,
okay. Who
then
cares?
you're okay with that.
Pay that man. I'm not okay with anything, and who cares what I'm okay with?
I mean, obviously, you got to get a contract done if that's the situation.
I mean, yeah, I got tons of power. I'm gonna call Debo right now and be like, "Hey, man, come on back." Am I okay with it? Who cares about what I'm okay with? Are you okay with it?
No, I'm not okay with it, man.
All right, there you go. He's not okay with it. You're
Not okay with that. It's bad business. It's terrible. It's terrible. Is it not?
If I was the GM, I would have paid Debo Samuel already.
I get what Jason's saying, though. It's basically, it doesn't matter if he's okay with it because it's out of his control. But I do get what the question is saying. It's also stating, like, well, like, is that something, say, if you were...
If I was a GM,
if you had a voice, would you be okay with
if I was a GM, Debo would have been paid. I wouldn't have lowballed him.
So the
I wouldn't
answer
have
is
let
no,
any-
you wouldn't be okay with that.
I'm as long as he's on the team. Yeah, all right, fine. No, I'm not okay with it. What is happening?
We got an answer here
What
in
is
the draft
happening?
room. We got an answer. Jason's not okay with it. Man, this food's looking fire.
Forget the food.
What do you mean forget the food?
Will you stop? We're live and you're talking about food. So
Guys, come on.
Giants are
What
nice.
you eating? I know you eating. It's around dinner time for everybody. Some of you already ate. We all talking about food around here.
Picks in. Do we know who the Giants are taking right
Evan
now?
Neal,
Evan Neal.
offensive player.
Evan Neal.
Yeah, they gotta go with their quarterback. Figure out what that situation is.
Evan Neal.
They got to figure out what that situation is. That's what I'm saying. It's Evan Neal. If he becomes a bookend tackle, this is a great pick for them. Evan Neal has experience on both sides of the line, so whether you want to put him at left tackle, whether you want to put him at right tackle, he's an instant day one starter for the Giants. And frankly, that's exactly what they need on their offensive line. They can't. Them taking a wide receiver does what? It doesn't move the needle for that organization taking a wide receiver.
And
you
again,
already paid Kenny Golladay.
Well, not even that. They're moving in a different direction at this point. They're gonna have to find their quarterback next year, whether that's a veteran, whether that's something else. It's not something that they're running with Daniel Jones down the line. But how do you build the foundation of your team? You do it in the trenches, and the Bills know that the Bills regime that's over here, Shane and Dabble, they know that better than anybody. So.
I saw Ryan Day pull up.
Who?
Ryan Day,
Who?
head coach of Ohio State. Who's the guy for Ohio State getting drafted? Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson.
And Garrett, yeah. Doesn't the GM still have to answer to Jed, or is Jed out of this? Yeah, I think Jed's out of it.
I think Jed's mostly out of it.
Jed's out of it. I think that he's put it in the hands of those guys.
The New York Giants select Evan Neal.
There you go. All right. Who's next? Atlanta? Atlanta's probably in on a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, they have Calvin Ridley gone, and then once he comes back, he's probably, being traded at that standpoint?
Well, Ridley's out for the year. Julio's gone. They even lost Russell Gage.
Yes, they did.
And so this feels like a receiver right here. We're going to figure out probably our first receiver off the board.
Who do you think it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to drop in the comments. Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave. I've got Wilson 1, I've got Jameson 2, and I've got Olave 3. Would not shock me if it was Garrett Wilson right now.
You spoke to him yesterday. What stands out most with Garrett Wilson?
Maturity. Very much a mature guy. When you speak to him, very humble and had very good answers in terms of all of the questions that was thrown about scheme. And I think that this was the one thing that I got from it. His comp that he said that he likes to liken himself to.
Yes.
Stevie Johnson, 49ers legend, by the way. But yes, I like Garrett Wilson, and that's probably going to be the pick here. That would be a good start.
I find it interesting that he said Stevie Johnson because not many wide receivers that are going to be first-round picks, top 10 picks, say, who I mark my game after? Stevie Johnson. Like, you don't hear that ever. But I think that's where it comes saying the maturity. Like, he's not out here, saying Julio Jones. Like, he found who fits him early in his career and what he wants to do.
Drake bet $100,000 that Drake London is the first wide receiver drafted.
He did.
That man just gave away 100 bands.
Yes, he did.
He could have gave that money to me.
Could have. Or his son.
Or anyone else at this point. 100 bands on Drake London? Are you kidding me? We did media availability yesterday with them. Drake London had like 2 people talking to him.
No way.
Yeah. Wilson, Jameson, and Olave, they had guys all around him the entire time. A lot of people want to say Drake London is Mike Evans. I say you are overstepping your boundaries saying that because Mike Evans is a baller. Did he go to a Stevie Johnson camp as a kid? Well,
I like Stevie Johnson.
So,
when he came to the Niners, I was thrilled.
But I think that what I took away from that answer is he understands route running. He's very mature and all of those things. So I felt like him looking at Stevie Johnson was a big thing and saying that because Stevie Johnson is a great route runner, one with a lot of footwork and the way that he got in and out of breaks. So I thought that was very impressive of him. Shows that he's a bit of a student of the game more than anything, in my opinion, when I heard him say that. It's so easy for all of these guys to say Moss, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Marvin. He says Stevie Johnson because he's a student of the game and he understands all of those things. And that's what I was most impressed with. Garrett Wilson is probably going to be the pick here, but he has shown a lot of maturity in terms of those answers that we gave.
The head of analytics, Jesse Rodriguez, says, watch Drake London not be the first Drake drafted overall.
I think you're talking edge rusher too as well. Drake Jackson could be and that could be the pick as well too. But you guys,
Wilsons.
Drop in the chat. What do we got? Wilson. I see Garrett Wilson, or Jesse hasn't missed yet.
Jesse hasn't missed yet.
He says Jameson.
Oh wow.
Eric says Jameson. We got Garrett Wilson.
Pick is in.
BV50 says any chance of Carmen Policy coming in to get Debo signed. Why?
Well, sounds like
I think the Seahawks just traded in.
no.
Oh, after. All right, yeah.
Malik Willis.
What do you think about the Falcons taking the quarterback ahead?
I mean, if the shoe don't fit, don't force it. That's what I think. I think if they go out this year with Marcus Mariota and they're mediocre, I think you're going to be better set next
Wow, Drake won his bet. Drake London. Picks in. Drake London. No, Atlanta. Drake London. It's in. It's in.
Here in Las Vegas.
Drake London. Drake won his bet. Drake put $100,000 on Drake London, and he just won.
That's probably the first time Drake ever won a bet.
$100,000 on Drake London.
It's the first time Drake ever won a bet. I swear.
Drake
The
put
rapper.
up the money, $100,000 on Drake London being the first wide receiver off the board. He just won.
Drake the GOAT. Which Drake? Because I know Eddie's a USC fan. Drake rigged the draft. They trying to mimic that Julio pick.
I hate it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate it. Drake London. I hate it. Garrett Wilson's better.
Drake won the tourney this year.
Jameson's better. He can't separate the top end speed. Bothers me. And the contested catch thing is fine, but a lot of contested catch guys can't separate. He didn't run his 40, ankle injury. He didn't run his pro day. This is a wild reach. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get that one.
I mean, it can work. I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna be the one to say this is a terrible pick that they fumbled the bag on it. I'm not gonna say that with Drake London because he does have all the skills and the ability to get there. Oh, baby!
Yeah, but we can't even hear him.
Can you hear me? Hello, I am here.
No, make it this. I can't hear though. We can't hear
Can't
you.
hear. That's okay. It's loud. I will fit
Turn
in
it up.
where I can. I will fit in where I can. Hello.
Can you get me on my with the your AirPods are paired.
Can you hear me?
Oh, out of Bluetooth.
I appreciate this. His ability to go up the ladder and make plays.
Don't you have to do something?
It sounds
Fine.
loud.
Look at the physicality as well. You off start with that coach.
Don't you have to like open it up and press a button?
That's what I'm doing.
If it doesn't work, it is okay. We
The light
tried.
needs a
That's
flash.
all that matters in my mind.
Down the field and then running after the catch. He's competitive. He refuses to go down.
I'm gonna rerun it.
To the end zone right here. And the basketball background. If you're wondering if it's real or if this is just
It's available. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Go.
Yeah, no. You can hear us both, but it's very loud where
Andrew, can you hear me?
is. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
How you doing, Jason?
Terrible. This is like the worst setup of the NFL. It's just awful in terms. No. Make this.
So
The NFL's terrible in terms of how they set all this up. It's so
We
bad.
think-
It's the worst.
So Drake runs the NFL now.
That was ridiculous. That's a ridiculous pick. It's ridiculous.
I don't know, man.
I know it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, yes, I was agreeing with you on that point. Absolutely. My question is so. If the reports are to be believed, because I don't know what you guys have been talking about. I just got off the clock. I apologize. Do you think the alleged names have been taken off the board for the 49ers? That's the question.
Well, I want one of the top three can't miss guys, not Drake London.
Is one of them Olave?
One of them is Olave.
Absolutely.
Williams and Olave. Now 10 becomes way more interesting in a few minutes.
Yes, absolutely. And this is really where the draft is going to be for the 49ers, at least in terms of the first round, right? We find out if the Jets are the pick or what the Jets do, because this is what we feel like we've been waiting for at this point, is this 10th pick.
Yes, now we're getting close. Now it's like you pulled up at the right time.
Yeah, no, it works out perfectly, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, but you pulled up at the right time because at this point right now, when we're talking about, and I'm sorry, guys, if it's super loud, I can't do anything about controlling, what they have going on back here. And I appreciate everybody for being here still. 9, this feels like Malik.
Yes, it could be Malik. The Seahawks are a very interesting spot because I feel like they can go a few places. Malik feels like the pick here, but I don't know. Maybe Seattle tries to trade up at some point. I don't know. Because it feels like if Carolina didn't go quarterback to me, which they did not, they went offensive tackle, which kind of falls into their lap because we go 6 defensive players first. They have any offensive player they want. So we'll see what Seattle does here. And I mean, oh man, this is where it's a little stressful, Jason. If we're 49er fans, and I like to believe we are 49er fans here, this is where it's getting a little stressful.
Yeah, and this is exactly the sweet spot. So you've got Seattle at 9, Jets at 10, Washington at 11, Minnesota, Houston, and Baltimore and Philly is like Houston, Baltimore, Philly is going to be the last 3 realistic destinations, in my opinion, if there was anything to happen. So I think that's really where we should be at this point.
I think if the Jets don't trade and whatever happens, I think you can breathe a little bit because the Jets feels like the obvious option, but still hold your breath a little bit. Houston, Baltimore, Philly, that stretch there is where it can be a little stressful.
Yeah, let me just move this over real quick. So this handsome young man can eat something real quick.
Oh man, I was here to watch Leo eat. I was very excited. I have my box of Cheez-Its.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see it. And we'll get him back on when he's done eating. You know, there is an impressive spread here as well too. But this is it. The pick is in right now. It says so.
Pick is in.
The pick is in. Let's do some deep diving and research and let's see where we're at. But
now I got a question. Are you
Charles Cross?
Are we doing it with what Rappaport tweets or what happens on the TV?
Pick is in. Charles Cross is the pick at 9. Mississippi offensive tackle. The Seattle Seahawks have taken Charles Cross.
So then the question becomes, Jason, and this is where the draft starts for the San Francisco 49ers, is if we're under the belief that they're going to do what they did in 2020 with trading Buckner and instantly replacing him, there is a lot of interesting names with the Drake London pick being the first receiver off the board. Jason, I know there's about 4 other receivers you really like. What are we doing? This is where the Debo answer comes in. At least one of them.
I despise that Drake London pick. I really just do not like that at all. Like, you need wide receivers, but there were 3 guys in front of him that are much better.
Oh,
what are we doing?
The Atlanta Falcons. I mean, back-to-back years with offensive playmakers with no real answer at quarterback either as of right now. And obviously the quarterback situation is better in the draft in 2023, so maybe Atlanta looking a little forward, getting their future quarterback a weapon at that point. But yeah, back-to-back years offensive weapon for the Atlanta Falcons, and very confusing.
Charles Cross. Picks in. Charles Cross. Sorry. Talking to everybody, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jason Aponte, the busiest man on 49ers Twitter. I've said it once. I'll say it again here. You talk to whoever you want. You're living the dream. I am in Sacramento, California.
Maybe they believe in Drew Lock. Oh, offensive tackle, Mississippi.
So,
or they like Drew Lock.
Now I got a question, Jason Aponte. Is Roger Goodell in the background where you're at? Is that a TV or is that Roger Goodell? I don't know where you're looking.
If it's Roger Goodell, I have questions about why the Wi-Fi is so janky.
No, I'm talking in terms of the background noise. Is that a TV?
No, it's a TV. But if Roger Goodell was here, I would give him a piece of my mind.
So the pick is in officially. I'm on YouTube TV, so I'm behind everybody a little bit. Charles Cross at 9, and the ball game starts for the San Francisco 49ers. What happens here? And
Kayvon Thibodeaux is in the press conference.
No, they just made an announcement. We can go interview Kayvon Thibodeaux if we wanted to right now.
So here's my question too. I know we're so busy talking Debo Samuel. Ian Rappaport mentioned that with the Panthers taking, I forget who they took off the top of my head, so I apologize. with the Panthers taking offensive tackle, he specifically mentioned Baker Mayfield, but he didn't mention. Oh, I just lost my connection. Hello.
I can hear you still.
You can still hear me. I'll get this fixed. He specifically mentioned Baker Mayfield by name multiple times. Did not once say Jimmy Garoppolo. So take that as you may.
That's hilarious, Just Alex. That is hilarious. It's so good, and I think it's so funny, and that's so Seattle.
It would be, and or it is. They took Charles Cross, so of course they get the offensive line help. It'll be like, hey, now that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Devontae Adams, maybe they take a receiver in the first round for the first time ever. So this draft has been so interesting. I think the interesting started, and maybe I was a little more surprised than you were, with Stingley going off the board at 3, Sauce Gardner not the first corner. I thought he was going to be the first corner off the board. So it's been a very interesting draft so far.
Yeah, and I think that's what's the intrigue. A lot of this draft had to do with who's on the board, and just the uncertainty of who's going to do what. And I think that's what makes it was so hard to bet, right? Like even last year, we knew it was Trevor, we knew it was Zach, and the draft started at 3 with the 49ers. That's kind of nowhere near where we're at now. So, yeah, this is it right here, Andrew. 10?
I think if you are one of the people who don't want to trade Debo Samuel, I think I'm one of them. I believe you are too. We'll see what happens.
I pay that man, and
pay that man.
And obviously, I found out today on the stream that I have way more input on all these things. I would have paid that man regardless, but keep going. I also would have got rid of somebody who's on this roster for no reason and a bunch of money, but that's a whole other story.
Yes, but if you're one of those, you don't want to trade Debo Samuel. What you want to see is the pick is in for the Jets. That is what you want to see. Because if the pick is in, that means there's no trade. And I haven't seen anything tweeted from Rappaport or
no, nothing's out yet. Nothing's out.
Schefter's been a little MIA today. I don't know if ESPN told him not to tweet anything.
No, he's getting scooped by My Sports Update. My Sports Update is the day one winner of the draft so far.
Oh, this is intriguing.
Pick is in.
So Debo, if the
so
pick
Debo's
is
not
in,
going for 10.
Debo is not going for
Garrett
10.
Wilson. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson. Pick is in. Pick is in.
Last year, the 10th pick was Devontae Smith, the wide receiver out of Alabama, to Philly.
All right, so pick is in. Yep, it's on my screen now as well. Jets are not trading. So now 49er fans can breathe a sigh of relief. As we said, a couple teams to look at: Baltimore, Philadelphia. Don't completely let your breath out, but
That's what it feels like to me.
Debo Samuel's a 49er as of this second.
Imagine that.
Imagine all the hubbub. So now the question is the relationship mended? Is the relationship, can we get it to a point where the Niners and Debo Samuel can come to an agreement? I don't know. And sure, that's a possibility. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But it's good news right now. It is very good news for 49er fans. Debo Samuel is still a Niner. The pick is in for the New York Jets. It's believed to be Wilson, which I'm sure has already happened. As I said, I'm on YouTube TV, so I'm a little behind. Mayoko just tweeted as well. The Jets keep the number 10 overall selection and take Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Exhale.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
So there you go.
49er fans, breathe. Let the oxygen get back to your brain.
Can we please go back to yelling about Jimmy Garoppolo? I miss
and
those
I think
days.
that's where we're gonna have to get back to, guys. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I never once thought that this was something that could happen. 10's not enough to get this done. And Kyle does not get robbed in any way. There's a way that Kyle Shanahan believes that he can fix this. Can he? I don't know, but he believes that in his mind.
There is a tweet going around from Nicholas McGee of Stats Perform. He has a check mark. I've personally never heard him before, so if he's bigger than I've heard, I'll follow him. Oh, Rappaport said it, so never mind. Rappaport said the Jets offered 10 and a pick swap for Debo Samuel, and it was rejected. That's not enough. That's not going to get you a Debo Samuel. I apologize to Jets fans if you are here. But for the time being, Debo Samuel is a San Francisco 49er.
Look, guys, I don't want to talk down. All that yelling, all that nonsense, calm down. Now, whether Debo wants to report and play is completely up to him. But I never felt that they were going to move him, and now we're at 10.
Per Rappaport, Commanders are trading back from 11, so there's some draft news for you.
Yeah.
Interested to see who makes the move up. Maybe a spot for the Packers, because the Packers have 2 first-round picks right now, correct? So maybe they traded up to get Olave. Maybe that's the guy they wanted. But now the business for the 49ers. I mean, I guess we should wait to clear, as you said, Baltimore and Philadelphia. Those are the 2 teams that may be interested. But at this point, the conversation should absolutely turn into how the Niners mend this relationship with Debo Samuel. And I think it's a way better conversation to have than possibly trading an all-pro receiver who does a little bit of everything. And whether or not the reports are true that Debo Samuel wasn't happy with his role, that's neither here nor there right now. I think the big story is as I've said it quite a bit, Debo Samuel's a 49er. We'll see what the Commanders do at 11. As I said, Rappaport just tweeted the Commanders are trading back.
We are ending the press conference. Thank you.
They are ending the press conference for Thibodeaux, per a source I've heard. Maybe the Saints. We still haven't seen the team that's traded up yet.
What do we do here with the Saints?
Attention, Avis Hutchinson.
Oh, hey, here's a fun thing. Tony Jefferson tweeted 8 hours ago, I think Debo will be a Jet by the end of the night. Trey Lance just responded, stop it, Tony.
Look.
There you go.
I know we need our drama, but guys, the 49ers had all the leverage. They
still do.
They still do. They don't have to do anything. The 49ers literally had to do nothing. You know why? The rules are in place. If Debo Samuel wants to go full Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, that's up to him.
The Saints traded up.
All right.
At 11. They're at 11. Saints are at 11.
Yeah, the Saints are on the clock. Yeah.
Wow.
Weren't you just buzzed like yesterday? Impressive hair jeans. My God. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I thought he was asking the other form of buzz.
I thought he was asking me.
That probably was true as well.
And I was like, wait a minute, how'd you know? I was like, I wasn't even doing anything.
So the Saints on the clock. I'm interested to see what this is. Quarterback, mate. Yeah, I got Jameis.
What are you trading up for, though?
We'll find out. Well, that's the fun thing is we'll find that out in a minute here. And Jason, you make a good point. All the drama, the 49ers are the best content creators there are, and that's what they've created.
I'm just happy that this is done or close to being done. I'm still worried about Houston, Baltimore, and Philly.
Yes, that's the stretch. It's a little concerning to me.
That's it. But that was the one that you really had to get clear of. That like them not getting it at 10, just dropped Debo being traded from whatever percentage you had, at least 20, 30%.
Yeah. Now, can I throw a wrinkle here and just ask this question? Out of curiosity, maybe just a dumb question to throw it out there. Could you see a team like Green Bay trading both their firsts for Debo? I don't think so personally, but I think it's a question that should be asked.
What? Say again?
Green Bay trading both their firsts for Debo. Do you think that could be a possibility? I don't think so. That would probably be a little too much. I'm just throwing questions out there to make people panic a little longer. But yeah, this feels good. This feels really, really good.
Great. Show's over. Back to your homes, people. Somebody say.
Wow.
Hey, shout out to everybody that's in here. I know that this is an unorthodox stream at this point. Trying our best over here, but make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. A lot more content coming from Vegas while I'm here. I will be here until Saturday. So tomorrow we are covering day 2, and then we'll be back at it. But the Ravens and the Philly and Philly are the 2 teams that I'm kind of sitting there like, oh, I don't know, right there. That's the teams that kind of worry me, and those are the guys that will probably be in on me.
Yeah, no, that's where I think we both will probably breathe a real sigh of relief. But 10 was the biggest obstacle. 10 was absolutely the biggest obstacle, and we've gotten past it. But yeah, Houston, Baltimore, Philly, right there. Man amongst savages. The pick for the Jets at 10 was Garrett Wilson.
The 16th overall pick that the Saints just
the Saints traded 16, a third, and a fourth to move up for what?
We'll find out. We will find out. I mean, maybe Malik Willis. But I'm drawing a blank on the quarterback out of Pitt. That could be an option.
Kyle Hamilton.
Olave's still there.
Olave and Michael Thomas. You got 2 Ohio State guys.
Slinging the ball from a Florida State quarterback. I just don't want it to be a quarterback. I need to continue my Jameis Winston narrative. Pick is in for the Saints. Man, I feel like Steve Young. Not Steve Young. Who am I thinking? I just feel like a giant sigh of relief. I feel like
Olave.
So Olave's the pick at 11. There you go.
Chris Olave. Olave is going 11. So the New Orleans Saints traded up to get Chris Olave. They're going to pair Olave with Michael Thomas, 2 Ohio State guys. Makes sense. Jameis Winston there for 2 more years. That is an impressive wide receiver duo.
Watch out for my Saints. Of Alvin Kamara there as well. I say my Saints because Jameis is
He's my wherever. Saints, man, kick his ass out.
He's talking. Hey, man, you're lucky I haven't mentioned Anthony Rizzo yet in his 3 home run game.
Chris Olave.
Wow.
Oh, what? Is that Tony Gonzalez too?
Scheduled on May 12th. This year's schedule will have a new twist.
What?
As our Thursday night game.
That's Austin Eckler.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. Hey, and I guess that now's a good time with what's being said in the background. Jason Aponte and I will be live for the Sprint Right Option podcast on May 12th. We will predict every single 49ers game that we can predict, all 17 of them.
The Lions are on the clock. They moved up.
The Lions have moved up now. Okay.
So the Lions are going to be at 12. What did the Lions move up to 12 for? A quarterback?
Quarterback? The way Rappaport tweeted this, the Lions are now on the clock. A big trade. He didn't say that about the Commanders trading back. So the Lions,
the Vikings and the Lions traded.
I mean, maybe the Lions traded up to 12 because they're a team interested in Debo, allegedly. They trade up to 12 to trade the – I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm keeping people engaged. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Maybe a quarterback. I mean, it feels like – I mean, I don't know what else you can trade up for at this point because they go edge. Maybe an offensive lineman? Who's available at O-line?
Evan Neal's gone. Look, right now, as of this point, where we're at, I have no idea what anybody's thinking at this point. But this trade up from the Lions with the Vikings is unorthodox because it's a divisional rival. And
Thank you. We're ending the press conference now. Another player will be approaching the stage.
Okay. I need to keep my ears on that because if something does happen with the 49ers, I'm out of here and I'm moving on to that real quick.
Sauce Gardner is approaching the press conference.
The Lions traded 32, 34, and 66 for 12 and 46.
That's got to be a quarterback.
Okay.
So there's that. Jason, while we have some in between time, they did have Tony Gonzalez announce the NFL schedule. Who do you think the Niners first? Who do you think the Niners' first game is going to be this year?
All right, Olave just went. Okay. First game this year. Make it the Mexico City game.
Well, I think the most intriguing one, the Rams get the opening Thursday night game.
Yeah, they do, but give the Niners the Mexico City game with Arizona.
That could be a very fun one, and that's an away game, correct?
This is someone that can get down the field.
Yeah.
James Winston wants to get vertical. Charles, this is the guy who can go get it. And it had Traquan Smith there.
Ender saying the Lions pick Jamison Williams. I don't know how that if that's accurate, Ender. But we'll see what happens. You could be way ahead of us. But it's definitely an interesting trade.
Yeah. If the Lions did all that to just trade up for a wide receiver, I'm like, it's
interesting, especially one who isn't going to be available until October. He's going off a torn something.
No,
right?
not Olave, Jamison Williams.
Yeah, Williams is hurt, correct?
Yes.
That would be a very interesting thing.
So I wanted to pass something along too, in terms of like what's going on and how much I've learned about stuff from this place. Okay, so at the combine, Matt Corral. Oh, Jamison Williams is the pick. Pick is in. Jamison Williams. The Lions just moved up and they took Jamison Williams.
Okay.
That makes the pick for Drake London so much more weird. I don't understand it. I really don't. Someone explain to me. No top end speed for him. If you have a problem with, or if you're really good with contested catches, probably because you can't separate. The guy didn't run. His ankle's messed up. Didn't run 40 at the combine. Didn't run at his pro day. What do you know about Drake London that nobody else knows of the three short shot guys? Wilson, Williams, Olave. Now all three of them off the board. And Drake London went ahead of them. I don't get it. That it makes no sense to me at this point.
There's always that one team that just throws a wrench into everything. And then you thought maybe it was Stingley at 3 to Houston. But that wasn't that huge of a wrench. It really feels like London at 8 is just such an interesting pick. And as I said, it's back-to-back years for offensive weapons. So like the only logic behind it I can think of is the Falcons. They realize the quarterback class isn't that strong this year. They're going to go out and get a quarterback next year, and then you have two pretty solid weapons. But yeah, it does feel like a bit of a stretch. It feels like a bit of a stretch.
Defense can play downhill, but you don't have the guy that can really stretch the field.
The last time 2 Ohio State wide receivers were picked in the first round, 2007, Ted Ginn and Anthony Gonzalez.
So someone just hit. Oh, the Eagles are on at 13 now.
The Eagles have traded up to 13.
So Jamison Williams the pick at 12. 13 instead of Houston is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. That takes the Eagles out of the Debo Samuel.
Yes. And the name that I saw they were interested in was Thibodeaux. They were trying to maybe trade into the top 10 for Thibodeaux, but obviously that's not on the board. So now where do the Eagles go? Malik? I'm just going to keep saying Malik because I'm so used to teams trading up to get a quarterback, right? And the Eagles have been loosely tied to Malik Willis.
No.
He's one of the best receivers in the league.
What a weird draft this has been.
Wow. So Jamison Williams, 12. Philly's on the clock at 13. 14. Oh, so all right. So it's not completely out of the woods. 14 is going to be 14 is now the Baltimore Ravens, and then Houston's back on at 15.
They just kind of flipped our worries a little bit. The Eagles and Texans flipping each other.
And for anybody, I saw someone on Twitter say, "Weren't you advocating for Debo to get traded?" And he's like, "Let's pull the receipts."
Attention, Sauce Gardner is approaching the.
You sure you're talking about me?
Yeah, no, this podcast has been very pro. We should just pay Debo. I think the only time we said the Niners should trade Debo is if they got absolutely blown away with the trade, and that blown away would have been 10. I mean, I said the conversation starts and ends at 4 for me, but 10-38 and a day 3 pick, maybe another second. I don't know, something deeper than that. But if the report was 10 and a pick swap, which would be 61 for 38, the Niners lose all the value in that, because the Niners do have multiple positions. Because let's just hypothetically look at it. Let's say the Niners make this trade, right? They trade 10, they get 38, they keep 61. You go receiver at 10 or corner, whatever you want to do. You take maybe Brisker at 38, who would be their address of safety, and then maybe interior offensive line at 61. That would have made sense, but the Niners lose quite a bit. And yeah, Arturo, same thing, right? Kind of the same thing. If the Niners get 4, 10, and 38, that's what we were saying.
But that's impossible.
But that's impossible. As
That's
Jason
the point.
Aponte would say,
That's
impossible.
That's the point of asking for 4, 10, and 38 is because that's literally impossible, and nobody would turn that down, and you'd be stupid. I'm sorry, I love Debo Samuel. You'd be stupid to do that.
Yeah, you would be stupid to turn down a trade like that, because there's so much value, and especially if you say 4, 10, 38, now you're talking Sauce Gardner, Chris Olave. You get 38 to go Brisker, safety. Now you're fixing corner, wide receiver, safety, and an IOL at 61. You get 4 picks in the first 61. Yeah, absolutely. You do it because the whole is greater than 1. But the Niners couldn't do it. And Oscar, how do we know that Debo doesn't want to be here? Per these reports that are all happening, let's say hypothetically tomorrow the Niners meet Debo at 25 per year. Let's say that happened, and the Garoppolo thing. As I said, we didn't get to talk about the press conference. I know John Lynch is continually saying we are fully prepared. We are fully prepared to keep Jimmy Garoppolo through 2022. They have to say that, because the second he can pass a physical, the Niners are still going to look to want to trade him to try and at least get something for him. They can't say we're going to release him when he passes that physical, because now you're losing all leverage. Do not trust John Lynch on anything he says until it's proven correct. I do not think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the 49ers in 2022, because if they don't trade him, they're going to cut him, and that's what it is. So I'm not going to judge this offseason until the games are starting to play. If Jimmy Garoppolo's on the roster week 1 in Mexico City per Jason Aponte, then we can talk about
Jordan Davis is the pick at 13. So Jameson Williams is in. Philly moved up. They're taking Jordan Davis at 13, firmly taking them out of the Debo Samuel conversation. Baltimore and Houston are the last 2 real likely destinations that could even happen. So there you have it.
Wow. And I mean, at this point, Jason, especially with the receivers off the board, what player could be available that the Niners are really itching to get? I mean, who's really there?
The 49ers are going to be picking at 61.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at. And now, as I said, the conversation turns into, how do the Niners get this Debo relationship mended? We'll find out. It's going to be interesting. Hey, BV, we appreciate you. I've seen you name all the time. Listen, if you're new here, if you haven't listened to Jason and I on the Sprint Red Option podcast, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, because Jason Aponte is perfect. We love him. He's a great human being. If you haven't listened to us on YouTube or on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, absolutely get us there too. Download us, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, download, and undownload.
Yes. Guys, again, I don't know how many times I have to tell you. The 49ers, you don't need to create content around the 49ers. The 49ers create the content for you. They are the clickbait team. We don't create clickbait. Your team creates it. And that's why we've been discussing this whole Debo Samuel thing. And now we're about to get past pick 15. And that's it. Debo Samuel's not getting traded today, guys.
I think at this point now, I think the likeliest scenario for this is a George Kittle situation. I think we get close to the season and something happens. Dusty, I love you. Appreciate you. I think that's the likeliest thing at this point, right? It's a George Kittle situation where we wait quite a bit. Who did you say the Eagles picked?
Jordan Davis.
Wow.
You know what I'm seeing in the press room that I'm seeing for the first time ever? People wearing their team's stuff. I see people wearing Washington stuff. I see people wearing Raiders stuff. Like, should I have shown up in a Fred Warner jersey?
No, I think you should have shown up in a Tracy McGrady jersey.
No, Penny Hardaway. Don't do that.
Penny Hardaway. Oh, my bad. I saw the Magic one.
Yeah,
I grew up with McGrady.
No, the real Magic one is Penny, not McGrady. Sorry, guys. Your favorite player's favorite player wants to be Penny Hardaway. Look, I feel like once we get past 15, once Houston's off the board, I think that we can end it, and we can just enjoy the rest of the draft. And if something happens, then obviously we'll pop on for something that's emergency. But as of right now,
we're chill. We're vibing. We're feeling good.
All that panic. I'm so glad that you and I decided to do a draft episode as opposed to continuing to regurgitate speculation about Debo Samuel, which you have no idea what's going on. That doesn't make for good content. I'm sorry, guys. And shout out to all of you guys for tapping in with us and staying with us.
We love you guys. It's been very, very fun. I mean, this has been exciting. The Niners, they're the gift that keeps giving, and if anything, the Debo Samuel situation has given us a reason to ignore the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, which I'm sure in a week we will get back to, because that's probably going to be the big talking point. Because I mean, what I'm really interested in is I know Baker Mayfield's out there, and let's have this conversation right now because I think it's a very interesting one.
Good.
If you're Carolina and you're Matt Rule and you're a staff in a front office who needs to have a good 2022 to keep your job, right? Because it's not necessarily a secret that this is your last chance. Wouldn't you rather stake your future on Jimmy Garoppolo than a Baker Mayfield? I think overall, I think I'd rather have Baker than Garoppolo if my job is secure, because I think Baker gives you a little more upside. He's younger, a little more unwrapped. But if you are betting your job on one quarterback, Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, I think you got to go Jimmy Garoppolo. And where does Carolina pick next? I believe it's 100. So it's 4th round.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's again, when you start to look at things logically, forget all of the noise, forget what Tony Pauline is telling you about the Jets are in. Stop. Listen, think. The 49ers have no reason to move Debo Samuel. They control him for 3 years. They can do exactly what they want. Why would you? And think about this. The precedent you set is someone's making a trade demand, and you honor that? Like, DeForest Buckner wasn't trying to get traded. The 49ers made a business decision and moved on from him. But he didn't demand a trade. Like, what are we doing? You got, not, and I'm not talking about anybody here, not talking down. Just so much of the noise that has gotten people out of their logical spot that they should be in. And I feel like I sound like somebody that a lot of people don't like, but it's always been there in front of you as far as logic.
Yeah, and I just
Kyle Hamilton at 14.
Kyle Hamilton at 14.
Kyle Hamilton at 14. That means one more pick, and I guarantee you that it's not going to be Houston. So we're done. Okay, guys? It's done. Now the conversation moves to what happens now with Debo Samuel before training camp? He's not being traded today, guys. Done.
And I don't think he gets traded, period, because now the 49ers was like, we could, if we want to have that conversation about, well, what if they trade for a future first, Jason Aponte? The issue with that is, let's just say hypothetically the Jets reach their peak next year and they make the playoffs. You've now traded Debo Samuel for a pick in the 20 range instead of a top 10. There is no definitives at that point. Debo Samuel isn't getting traded. And I think after this situation, after all this, as I said, and I just tweeted it, so if you want to go follow me on Twitter at Pasquini Andrew, I just think the likeliest scenario is we get closer to camp, we get closer to preseason, and the Niners get extended. And BV, I understand that thought. Once again, let's see where we're at in June with the Garoppolo situation. Once he can pass a physical, let's see where he's at. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion quite yet.
I will foot the bill, and that means kick his ass out of here. Let me take this call. I'll hold on to it.
Jason Aponte, per sources, picking up some stuff. He's taking phone calls. The Eagles are making their pick on my screen. I know everybody else is a little ahead of me. YouTube TV, it's a struggle. Everybody's a little ahead of me. Jordan Davis is the pick. Defensive tackle out of Philadelphia. So now Baltimore is on the clock on my screen. Jason said they've already made their pick, it sounds like.
Kyle Hamilton.
Hello, Jason. Wow. What a nice day to be a Niner fan. All these weeks of panic for nothing. It's kind of the 49ers story at this point. It's weeks of panic for nothing. And in good and bad ways, right? There was a lot of panic with the Garoppolo and nothing really happened. But as I said, there it is. I mean, so now let's see what Houston does, and we can really breathe our sigh of relief.
I mean, once Houston's done, we'll wrap up, and I'll try to get my ass to the press conferences to try to get some quotes and everything. But more than that, I'm gonna get my ass to a casino so I can make some money on some other stuff, and I'll take some Giants bets tomorrow. So
I like this suit Jordan Davis has got on. It's got this like red stripe across. I kind of like it. It's a good look.
I'll tell you this. The prospects yesterday that we spoke to were much more open about where they think they're going to be traded than their suits. I asked Malik Willis, tight-lipped. Jermaine Johnson, tight-lipped. And Jameson Williams, he was like, I'm not telling anybody anything at all. So it was crazy how much the drip matters to these prospects, and I got to say I respect it.
Did you see the inside of Aiden Hutchinson's jacket? He has, I guess he's a big journal guy. He writes his journals, and it's a big like manifest your destiny. So he had a lot of like little quotes he had. It's kind of cool to see the swag on the draft, but it's also pretty cool to see the sentimental value that some of these guys put within their outfits and all that. So it's always fun. The draft is always exciting, no matter how you cut it up.
And it was dope when he did that, but when Ezekiel Elliott opens up his for a crop top, you guys have a problem with that. Dad, he can't hold out. He's got to hold in. And hi, Dad. Nice to see you. I hope you're proud. Oh, not my dad? Oh, sorry. That's not Paul.
Yeah, no. He can't really hold out.
He can hold in though. Like
Jalen
Ramsey. He'll show up to camp, say he's injured, can't play, and continue to press that if that's what he really wants to do. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, no, this is a future comment because now, in my opinion, at least in the Sprint Red Option podcast cinematic universe, the Debo Samuel conversation kind of needs to take a step back. It needs to pause. Dusty Gold, it is not a third eye. It is a Brody Lee, R.I.P., AEW wrestler shirt. Join Dark Order. And sure, yeah, Dad, sure, we get what you mean. I just don't see this ending in a trade at this point. I really do think the Niners at some point, and who knows, man. Let's the suit, the Jordan Davis suit. I liked it. I thought it was a nice suit. Let's say this, Dad. Hi, Dad. We're just gonna run that joke into the ground. What's to say hypothetically, Jimmy Garoppolo passes a physical, the Niners get him off the books, whether it's trading him and getting the full $24 million off the books, or it's cutting him and getting $17 million off the books. Now the Niners have the money to maybe meet Debo at that $25 million a year. And as we said, Jason Aponte, we need to stress this once again. 25 average is not that scary. The Niners can structure the contract to make it a little easier, a little nicer.
Why does so? Hold on, James. Are you disrespecting Red Stripe beer because hooray beer?
Hooray beer! Oh, those are great commercials.
Yeah, you love that. Look, guys, I think that a lot of this Debo Samuel stuff has been a problem because it has gotten us away as 49er fans from having fun talking about football, talking about this team, and that's the problem that I have more than anything.
It's really taken it over.
Yeah, and I'm glad that all this Debo stuff kind of happened because now we don't have to discuss Jimmy Garoppolo anyway. But people have gotten more venomous over this, and there's such a need for so many people. Oh, I'm right. I was right. Look what I did. Look at me. When you look at things logically, the 49ers had no reason to move Debo Samuel. None.
No, they had none. They had none.
And Debo Samuel's going to be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Can we get him on the pod? You think he'll join us?
Probably not.
Just promise we could talk to him about NFTs.
Yes. So Tavares brings up a great point. Debo Samuel is going to be available from 4 to 5:15, but no interviews. So they allow us to be there, and I'll ear hustle, and there'll be things thrown out there, but we cannot interview Debo Samuel.
Before we go, because I know we're wrapping up after the Houston pick, let's talk about the two pieces of news that did happen. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because Jason was traveling. Bosa's 5th-year extension picked up, which not a huge surprise. And Azeez Al-Shaair signed his tender, so he is here for another year. So there's the two kind of big, not surprises, but newsworthy things that happened.
100%. And Azeez back, so happy. Love it. You know I love it.
Oh, we love we're Azeez Al-Shaair podcast.
But yeah, Tavares, he's here for the fan experience, and it's not for media. So he's going to be signing autographs and things like that. But that doesn't mean that fans won't be asking questions like that. So,
Ravens officially go Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah. But we're waiting one more pick, and once that's done, we'll wrap up.
I'm serious this time. Sauce Gardner is entering the press conference room.
Okay. If you guys ever wanted to know what a media workflow looks like during a draft, this is your best chance.
It's pretty cool. I think it's fair.
But the Ravens just traded Hollywood Brown to the Arizona Cardinals.
What? Okay. Hollywood Brown to the Arizona Cardinals. For what?
I don't know. What?
He was my favorite player in this draft for all the reasons that you just talked about, Coach. I think he can do everything.
So did they trade him for the pick?
We're going to find out. Plus the maturity factor.
Let's see what we got here.
Yep. The Arizona Cardinals trade number 23 for 100 and Hollywood Brown.
Interesting.
Oh, God. That clears the way for Debo. Now we're right back at it.
We're back at it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So wait. Where's Baltimore at?
I mean, they could make a trade now. They don't have. What?
Here's the most impressive interception of the entire college football season coming from the far hash. Coach is still second in. Touching down.
This was a wrench we were not expecting.
Find out how much guys love football. This is not participating
Wow.
in special teams. This is dominating in special
Wow.
teams. He's going to fit in just right in Baltimore.
Oh, man.
While this is unfolding,
The pick is in.
Just happened with Baltimore because the Ravens traded back into the.
You hear it, right?
They coughed up a draft choice and a player.
The pick is in, though, so this is it. Let's wait for this pick, and then we will knock this stream off, and then we'll get right back to it if something happens. But
the Arizona Cardinals trade 23 to the Ravens for 100 and all. Wow.
Ender, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's where this conversation now gets a little more interesting.
How will you make your mark?
Oh, man.
I mean, they're already a great team. I try to add to the defense and do what I can.
I hope you do too. Congratulations.
There you go. Appreciate
Oh, man.
All right, so Kurt Warner, take it away. I tell you what, on the surface, guys, you kind of.
But I need this Houston pick to come in.
Marcus Williams, who we just signed in the offseason, but we're seeing more and more teams go to these 3 safety looks. Tough for a quarterback to recognize.
Let me look. Let me see what I can see right now.
You see the Steelers do it. This is one of those best man on the board. We believe he can play lots of spots, and he's going to make our defensive backfield really
This is great TV also, by the way. We're not talking.
Yeah, no. I think well, I like it when breaking news happens, right? When we went live with the Raheem Mostert situation, right? That news broke. I like it when people get to see our pure reactions. I
So
think
the Houston Texans took Kenyon Green at 15, and the Commanders at 16 are taking Jahan Dotson.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Kenyon Green.
There you go. Kenyon Green and Jahan Dotson is going 16.
Kenyon Green, one of the best interior linemen, but does have position.
because I think what's really interesting about
We saw the money he just got with the Jets.
so this is me spinning my brain a little bit here.
This dude at 300.
Baltimore didn't trade, like they could have waited to get to 23 if they really wanted somebody. I think the timing of this trade
At the next
is
level,
really interesting
to the second level, climb up there,
because it's not like they traded up to 23 when it was the 22nd pick.
offense. You want to pull it? Show you the ability to get outside.
Oh, hey, Andrew, you joined a little bit late. Do you know who walked in and just sat like right across from us?
Ooh,
Todd Gurley.
That's what he does.
that's pretty cool. Is he still there?
No, he left.
Oh, you should have told him. He hurt me in Madden quite a bit.
You're not going to get through.
I'm sure he would have loved to hear that.
I mean, he probably doesn't care, but
All right, well, this is it.
I mean, do you want to hold on to Baltimore's pick? Just 7 more picks? What do you want to do? You're in Vegas. You're the one doing all the fun. I'm just going to play MLB The Show. You're the one doing the fancy thing.
That's too far down the line. I don't think the 49ers are going to get one of their guys, man, at this point. Like, who, like, nah, man.
Yeah, I think
and if something happens that's out of the ordinary, emergency pod season's back, so. But, yeah, I think this is a good place to end it.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe a little panic. I don't know how much the Baltimore thing affects it. We will likely be back. I don't know when we'll be back. I mean, obviously, if something big happens, we'll be back for sure tonight. But until then, I'm not sure when we will be back. Jason, I hope you enjoy Vegas. And yeah, man, I hope you're having a great time. It looks like you're having the time of your life.
Yeah, that's it. So shout out to everybody who joined. Thank you guys for tapping in. Remember, like this channel, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and tap in with me on Winnow, where I tell you guys what I've been hearing. The Winnow community kind of got wind that there was no Debo trade on the horizon, because that's what I had been hearing.
Yes.
And here we are. So Winnow, WINNO.app/Jason Aponte. Tap in there for you to get the insider stuff that I'm hearing around here, and I'm sending and I'm not putting out on Twitter. But shout out to everybody that's on here, and thank you guys, man. And slow down. You're all right. Everything's good. But yeah, Andrew, take us out.
Beautiful. Yeah, guys, thank you for joining us. I know it's a little more scrambled than usual, but hey, it's live things going on that we're talking about. A lot of moving parts. We didn't really have a script going into this. You might have gotten to see a meltdown if the Debo trade happened, but you didn't get to see it. That's good for probably Jason and I, because we probably would have said some things we regretted. But hey, that's why we go live. We got to keep ourselves in check some way, somehow. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.